received our charter approval for the state of Colorado on November 19th of 2014. The next phase is really getting the approval at the federal level. We don't have an expected date for our doors to open. However, we're ready to go.
The Fourth Corner Credit Union wants to serve the marijuana industry. They're waiting to open.
We have banking issues in the marijuana industry. No bank is willing to take our business.
So how did we get to this point? Let's back up a bit. In 2012, Colorado and Washington legalized recreational marijuana. Oregon, Alaska, and DC followed suit in 2014. But since the drug is still illegal at the federal level, and many banks are federally regulated and insured, most banks don't want to work with the industry. Case in point, Green Man Cannabis in Denver.
I've been kicked out of 7 banks in the last 6 years. When we were kicked out of the last one, we made a decision not to open up any other accounts because it was so clear that we were having trouble keeping them. We can't take credit cards, we can't take debit cards, we can't take checks. For about 1.5 years now, we've been 100% in cash.
That means a big headache and a big armored car.
Back in the day, I wanted to be a police officer. Never really saw myself transporting, cash and product for the marijuana industry.
It's funny, people go, well, you're driving a truck around with a 5-foot pot leaf on the side. Aren't you just painting a bullseye on yourself? And I say, well, we're carrying $100,000, $200,000 worth of cash. Brinks and Loomis and Garda, they're carrying $3, $4, $5 million in cash. I don't know why any criminal would be dumb enough to go after a target like us if they were actually able to successfully rob that truck.
We end up paying between $12,000 and $14,000 a month to handle our cash. That's from transporting it, counting it, paying all of our bills. It's a very expensive proposition.
But things are starting to change. In 2013, the Department of Justice issued a memo. It said marijuana is still illegal, but if you don't meet one of 8 criteria, like distribution to minors, then you won't be targeted by federal law enforcement. That opened the door. A crack. 2 years later, the Treasury, which enforces financial crimes, but also wants to promote transparency, says that there are currently 185 banks and credit unions that have reported working with marijuana businesses, but it's kept confidential. Which brings us back to the Fourth Corner, which wants to be out in the open.
We have built our financial institution around compliance.
But as a new credit union, they need approval from the Federal Reserve. That usually takes about a week or 2. After 4 months, no comment from the Fed.
What we would like to do is help the cannabis industry move from a cash-based system into an electronic banking system.
It's really time to change this federal law.